All right, so I'm just going to get us started real briefly here, and then I'm going to turn it over to Donna. So first, just some quick intros, and then I'll talk about why we're here, and then Donna will take it from there. But I am Aaron Standish. I am the K-12 program planner for any and all personal financial literacy in the district. Brian, who you see, that is not the Brian Edwards that works for United Way. That is Brian Edwards, that is the specialist for K-12 personal financial literacy here in the school district. And is a great likelihood we'll be doing the lion's share of the work on this project. So if you don't hear from me on this, you will hear from Brian. So now everybody has a face, which is good. We've also got another Brian Fiore, who is at the Academy of Finance at Dwyer, who ran a VITA site last year. So that is why Brian is here, is that for you teachers who are new and still exploring this, there is absolutely no better resource than a teacher who has served as a site coordinator successfully and has trained students. So toward the end, if we want to do a Q&A and you have any questions of the logistics and the reality from a school site of running this, really Brian will be your expert and be able to best answer that, as he has the experience of doing it. Looks like we have two of our teachers from our schools on here right now. We got Leslie. Leslie can wave to us, is coming from Atlantic High School. And Helene, I know, is in that video we talked last time, but you're here, right, Helene?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, my camera, for some reason, it points down, and I don't know how to fix that. Sorry about that.
There's Vivian. And Helene, what school are you with?
I'm with Palm Beach Lakes High School.
Oh, okay.
And then we have Donna and Vivian, who are both here from the United Way of Palm Beach County, and they run how many total sites? 20-ish?
With mobile and everything, yeah.
All right, so they have a very heavy load with about 20-ish VITA sites all around Palm Beach County. So that's who everybody is on the call right now. And then, like I said, we're recording this for a few other teachers who have shown some interest as well. Just real quickly, I know our teachers that are new that are here, I've already spoken to individually, so I don't need to do a lot of background in terms of this. But this really will be the fourth year of the School District of Palm Beach County having VITA sites within our district, which is exciting. The idea is to have high school students serve as those volunteers. It not only provides them just wonderful real life work experience, it's a great service that you do for your school community. So really there's a win-win situation for all involved here. So that's why we've always tried to do our best to support this program, because we know how impactful it can be for the students who participate, and how impactful it can be for the local community who really can benefit from these free tax prep services that are offered here. And that being said, here in a moment, I'm going to turn it over to Donna and Vivian. Like I said, I've spoken to both Helene and Leslie and sort of given them an update on what it's going to take. It's not easy to get the students to pass their exams, to get them qualified to be tax preparers. But Donna and Vivian can speak on the logistical side of that and what it takes. I've already sort of run them through Lincoln Learn Taxes. I know the majority of our teachers in the past, having been teachers, having the professional experience of being a teacher, typically prefer the Lincoln Learn Taxes route. But also there's other options as well. And that's what Donna and Vivian will talk about, some other options that may be available to you as well. So with that being said, I will stop talking. I'll stay on in case you have questions for me at the end, and I will turn it over to Donna and Vivian. Thank you.
Okay, so Vivian, do you want to start? Oh, we can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I'm using my phone because I couldn't log in the computer.
Oh, okay.
Yes, now you guys can hear me. Like Aaron says, we run 16 to 25 locations with the mobile sites. And of course, you guys welcome to do it. But of course, we have a timeline to see if you can be ready at the most the first week of February. But I prefer everybody be ready by mid-January, to have time to set up the schools and everything with the e-services and of course with the IRS. Now, we offer the Lincoln Learn training. That means you can do it on your own, or if they want to do it in person, we have 4 training, 4 beginner classes, 2 classes in December and 2 classes in January. It depends, of course. The students, they never have done a tax return. They need to go to a beginner classes. Now, any of the coordinators or the teachers, maybe they have experience, like Brian. Brian was with us last year. He's really good. He knows how to do. He has his academy where he teach, Lincoln Learn in his class. Now, I don't know the situation with the other schools. They can do it on their own. They have a finance academy. How that work for you guys? For the other teachers?
Yeah, neither of them are from finance academies. They would most likely have to do it outside of the classroom.
Outside the classroom, yeah. 2 years ago, we have Lakewood High School and we have Whitser, and she did it in the after school program. But of course, because she had so many issues, she didn't continue last year. But then, Brian engaged. The last year, unfortunately, they were really late and we couldn't use the event that was assigned for the school district because we need to ask a special permission. By the end of January, nobody said anything, and we didn't send the email to ask permission for the school. Then Ryan, of course, I think was the second week of the third week of February, said we are ready. That's where we have to share one of the events with the other locations. That's what I said. If you guys want to continue using your own event from the school district, you have to be ready by mid-January.
Okay, just to take a few steps back, I know Helene and Leslie have zero idea what an EFIN is. So we won't, they don't need to know right now or explain it, but they just need to know they need to be ready by the middle of January.
Middle of January, yes. The EFIN is the electronic number to e-file returns.
And so what we do is we basically put all the schools together on one EFIN, and the IRS does set a requirement too for us with that, which is 50 returns. So between all the schools, if there's 3, 4, to hit that 50 number of returns that are being submitted through that one EFIN. So just to give you a little bit of background on that.
Yeah, and the permission, I mentioned about permission to the IRS because in the previous year, unfortunately, we used the EFIN for the school district. And of course, Lakewood High School did only 30 returns. They didn't comply with the requirement that is 50 returns because the other school at the last minute gave up. They said they won't do it. Last year, because Brian was, they were late, we didn't use the EFIN for the school district. We just used one of the other location. They shared the number, and of course I was able to pull the number of return that he did it with his students. Now, I would love to use the EFIN from the school district. We're going to have 3 or 4 schools, and hopefully you guys meet the requirement that is 50 returns altogether. But go back to the trainings. If any of the students, I don't know if they're going to I don't think so the students will be able to attend the beginner classes because those classes are at night. And I don't know it's about the policy of the school, even though the program is going to be with the school district. If they want to attend the training, it's going to be out of the school and out of, business hours. It's not really, it's going to be within, let's say, from 8 to 6, where the school ends by 6 o'clock if they have an after school. I don't know how it's going to work. Maybe the coordinators are welcome to attend the trainings if they want it, if they have experience, if they have knowledge of tax returns. How is, of course, I would love to hear from the teachers, how they're going to do it, or how they plan, or how they think it's going to be the right, timeline, how they want to work.
So that would be kind of for Leslie and Helene, I believe, because Brian, I think will work again in the class with the kids. So
this is the first they're hearing, so I'm sure they're still considering. But just to read it, and then we'll let Helene and Leslie answer. It doesn't have to be done outside of during those hours, right? They could, if they choose, do the majority of it via Link and Learn.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Oh,
what we
maybe
would
then.
require, if you want to jump on board with this, is for the teachers to get certified. And if you can get that done kind of before the Christmas break, or at least over the break, so when you come back, you're finished, and then you can work with your students to get them trained. That way, if you have any questions, and Vivian's available. But once tax season starts and we get into January, she's doing trainings and her time gets limited. We do have another employee that's kind of seasonal part-time that works with Vivian that might be able to help and answer some questions as well. But so that would be the first step, is if you're interested to get you guys on the Link and Learn, you can do the practice and then get your testing done. And the requirements for that are everybody, no matter who is volunteering, has to do the standards of conduct, and then the intake quality review. And then for the site coordinators, Vivian, do they just do site coordinator, or do they have to do advanced as well?
They have to do a site coordinator class that is completely different. Is how to manage the location. And of course, they need to pass, I think it's for the coordinators advanced. Yes.
Okay, so the advanced and then the site coordinator training.
And of course, the student have to pass, like you said, volunteer standard of conduct, intake and interview, and of course, basic tests.
Yeah, basic if they want to do advanced, that's great. If they do want to do advanced, they don't necessarily have to do the basic. So it saves a little bit of time. So if you do have some students that are, you think more advanced, would be able to do that advanced class instead of the basic. But that would be up to you to determine with your students. So, and then like Vivian said, we do have refresher classes on a few Saturdays. And then we do have a site coordinator class. So it would be great if the teachers could at least attend either the refresher or the site coordinator training, just because it gives you a lot more information, details. So that would be great if you can attend those. So we can send out all the dates to everybody and the links to everything after this call.
Last time I did not attend anything in person, but this time I definitely plan on attending a couple of the in-person trainings. The Link and Learn stuff was great. And I also supplemented that. I went onto YouTube, and there are other VITA sites all across the United States that had already created like videos of, study this one, like 8 playlists or 10 playlists. And I just kind of picked out a couple of videos. If one didn't explain something all that well, I could go to a couple of other ones for all of the trainings. And so I just watched a couple of extra videos doing that stuff. And you can also show those in the classroom if you have access to YouTube on your smart board or something. Yeah.
Go ahead, Leslie.
So approximately how long do you guys think it takes to, if you do Link and Learn, let's say for the students, if I go through the trainings, get certified for students, for the Link and Learn, you said you can kind of do it the way so they could do some of it Link and Learn, but did you say it could be done like after school? Could they stay after and work on the trainings after school, or?
Yeah, you can do, of course, I don't know what kind of activities the student has, but if you're willing to have a class after school, it's going to take, for our participants, for our volunteers, we do a training from 5 to 9, 4 nights. We're talking about like 16 hours of training.
Okay.
And if you, I don't know how long is after school, maybe 2 hours.
Yes, it is.
From Monday through Thursday, I don't know how you guys,
I could probably, I guess, Brian, do you do could it be like a assign, could they work on it? I guess, could it be like an assignment too for some of the students that are enrolled?
Yeah, and you kind of can chunk it up because there's the different tests. Like there's like the first test, which is I think pretty easy with like the ethics requirements and everything. That's a pretty fast test, so you could definitely kind of. I don't know how much classroom time you can devote, but like, because we have an Academy of Finance and I teach personal finance, I have a whole unit on taxes. So I could take like my class time to actually.
Yeah, because I do too. And I have quite a few students in the class. It's just, well, they could still do it because the semester is about to end in December. So it would be some of my students in the semester class, they will be leaving right after the Christmas break. So they'll have another class on their schedule. But at least I will do the training start at the beginning of December, or is it the middle or the end?
When will the actual for the testing be available?
The testing site is not available yet. Of course, I have it's on hold because it's a new platform, but we'll let every, the coordinators and volunteers when it's going to be available. The practice lab is available because there's two websites. One is the practice lab where you can do returns. And of course, the testing site is a platform where you do the test. But of course, the test is, part of, tax law and part of returns. In order to answer the questions on the testing website, you have to do returns in the practice lab to get the answers and key it in the testing website.
Yeah, and the practice lab is open and available right now. I did send Brian information for that already.
Okay.
And Link and Learn is open right now too to be able to start the training, correct?
Oh, okay, great. Okay.
I have a question.
Elaine's got a question. Go for it, Elaine.
Yep.
On the Link and Learn website, and I don't have a clue where I'm going. This is massive. So is there step-by-step which courses? Because, I don't know which is which one the students need to take, because my students, unfortunately, from personal finance cannot be part of this program because they're ninth graders. So I'm targeting the seniors and the juniors, so they're not my students. So this is something we're going to have to do after school, or they're going to have to do independently. So I'm trying to create something for the students where I can create a whole, hey, watch this video, watch this tutorial, then maybe take this quiz. But I don't want them to have to take, like how you were saying, advanced versus basic. I don't know which ones are mandatory for the students versus for me, because this website is massive. So I'm not even sure where I'm supposed to go on to get all this information for the training.
We have been working with instructor and also the lady who helped me in a PowerPoint. We just finished the PowerPoint with all the updates. I can share with you guys that PowerPoint, and you can read it. Is pretty much that PowerPoint is just to pass basic things, and I'm pretty sure you don't go to the advanced level is more complex.
I'm sorry, you were breaking up, so I was having a hard time hearing everything you were saying.
I'm saying that we have a PowerPoint that I can send it to you guys, and you can go from there. This PowerPoint is only to pass basic tests. You can share with your students, you can explain to them, you can review it before the class. Whatever training you have or after school class, I don't know exactly how you're going to work.
Yeah, because this is something I would like the kids to do over the break while they're off, so they can study. And they're really going to have to do it individually. I can meet with them a few days after school. But this is something that they're going to do independent. So I'm getting students that are in our AP courses, ACE courses, so that it'll be easier for them. But even for me, I'm not sure which tests I need to take. So does this go through step by step, which tests I'll be able to take as well, the PowerPoint?
It is only for basic. Of course, we have resources. We have the 4012. That is pretty much your guide. Yeah, you can take it to when you open, this is going to be your guide. We said the Bible because we have all the answers in there, what you're looking for, especially when you're doing, basic and advanced returns. But I'm pretty sure for your students, just basic. Now,
right.
In your case, you have to pass advanced. Unfortunately, coordinator has to pass advanced. Now, do you have a knowledge about taxes? Do you know a little bit about your income and some adjustments and credit? Do you have any idea about those?
Well, I do taxes. I do taxes on the side. This is something I've been doing for the last 5-6 years. So I do taxes with a tax company.
We already have the books. We're willing to drop the books. Just let me know where, or if you're willing to pick up the books at the office. I know you got classes, maybe you're not able to do that. Just let us know how many sets you want. It's just for you or for each student, or you think they can share the information. There is 2 books. One is the testing. The same test that you do it online, it's easier you do it on paper, and then you transfer the answers to the testing website.
Yeah, if I can get some books, that would be awesome. I probably need about 10 of them, 10, 15, if you have. Yeah, even for me, because this is the first time I'm here. I guess for the coordinators, we have to take the advanced test. I thought I heard you say standard of conduct, intake, site coordinator class, and advanced. Those are the tests that we take.
Correct.
Yes. You know, let me tell you, the volunteer standard of conduct and intake, well, the intake one is a little bit more complicated,
Yeah.
but the volunteer standard is just common sense. Very easy question. They can read it and they can figure it out. Of course, there is you can go to the website, Link and Learn, and you can read it about the volunteer standard of conduct, as well the intake form. Hopefully, I can drop also the intake form. It's a paper that all the taxpayers have to fill out. And of course, you need to know, normally the form goes with the tax return. They're talking about the personal information of the taxpayer, about the income, expenses, and everything. You can match whatever you're learning whatever you have in the intake with the 4012, and it's easier for you. We teach you about how to enter, personal information. We teach you about income, pretty much whatever income is, in our program is not too many things complicated. It's just regular wages, sometimes self-employment, but self-employment is for advanced level, unemployment, social security. Pretty much that's it for basic preparing. And of course, if we have other type of income, more complicated capital gains, that's go for the advanced level. That's what I said. You can match it. Hopefully, I do have the intake form, or I can give you the draft, because right now they change it compared to the one that we have in the previous year. But I can share the draft, or you can match the intake form with the 4012, the guide that you have it in the 4012. I think if you have, especially for the coordinators, if you have knowledge about tax return, how to do it, it's going to be easier for you.
Like I do my taxes every year. I have worked I don't work for a tax company right now, but I have worked for, I've worked for like H&R Block in the past, but I've been doing my taxes since I was about 21. The paper, so I've been doing, I do them every year. I don't want to pay anybody to do them. So, and then I have 2 sisters who are accountants, and my oldest sister, she was like, okay, stop paying people. So I just do my own, and so I just do it every year. So.
And I think the part that you need to learn, go the software, because of course if you said that you use H&R Block, this is a taxpayer. It's very
I've done them, because now I worked there before, but I don't use their software. I usually just use the it depends on whichever one is the cheapest, to be honest. But I've used the Tax Layer. I've used whichever one I can get, the one on the Amazon one, the E1. So every year I just kind of figure out which one has the better price. But I do use the software, and it's really easy.
Yeah, so it should be fairly easy for you then to pick this up. But what we're recommending is, and we can drop off the books to you, the intake forms, everything you'll need, but for you guys to start as soon as possible. So even, next week, go on Link and Learn and, work on the practice lab and the tax returns and all of that, so that you guys can get certified. And then that way, when your students are working on the tests and the practice lab and whatever, if they have questions, you've already done it. So, you should be able to answer them. But again, like I said, if not, Vivian's available to answer any questions as well.
And how long does it take to receive your certification? Like when you, after you do it, like, is it like a fast turnaround or?
Yeah, so once you take the test, you'll get your certificate pretty much right away.
Okay.
And you'll have to sign that volunteer agreement. It's
Mhm.
Form 13615. And it's electronic, but you'll need to save that as a PDF
Okay.
and then email that to me so that we
Okay.
have it on record. And we will need them from the students to show that they passed the exam and in order to be able to do the taxes.
Is there a certain amount of students that you guys need for us to have, or?
Not really, but typically because the schools we know are a little bit different and it depends on where in the school you're preparing the taxes. If it's in a classroom, usually we like to have 1 or 2 students that are kind of greeters so that as people are coming in, like they can direct them where to go. And then, a couple of students to, prepare the returns. And then you as the site coordinator have to review every single return before it's submitted. So with this program with the IRS, everyone needs to fill out that intake form, which will provide you. It's like a 3-4 page trifold. It's their basic information, what kind of income they have, their dependents, all of that kind of stuff. So you use that to prepare the return. And then once the student prepares it, like I said, you as the site coordinator have to review it. And as long as everything's okay, then you can submit it. And then you'll get right away, Vivian, right? Not right away, but fairly quickly, whether it was accepted or rejected. So if it was rejected, there would have to be follow-up with the taxpayer to find out what happened. And a lot of the rejections, Vivian can tell you from last year, is the marketplace, and they don't have the form and they don't tell us they had the marketplace.
Oh, the
So
insurance.
that's one of the big
Yeah,
things why they get rejected.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got rejected for something. I think I put a number wrong or something last year. The adjusted gross income. I was like, it keeps rejecting. I just couldn't figure it out, but yeah.
I have a question for the teachers that have done this before. Do you already have a created lesson plan, PowerPoints, or anything that you've used to teach this to your students for those that are doing it?
I have not created a separate lesson plan for like the VITA program itself. Last year, what I did was the Link and Learn, but also I just went on YouTube and found just like a series of videos that were all tied together that kind of walk you through the different certifications and just kind of watch the videos, and then in combination with that and the Link and Learn. And
Would you be able to send that to us, please?
I could look back because I did create like a separate Google Classroom to just keep track of all of the students and so I should be able to go back to the old, reactivate the old Google Classroom that I used for the VITA program. And then
if you could share that Google Class, like unarchive it and maybe forward it to us, and we can kind of make a copy of it, so at least we have something to go out, because I use Google Class for my classes, so I would definitely love to do something like that with my students.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good for them to like, because you create the assignments and then have them upload their certification forms all there, so you have it all in one place. And then a couple other things, the activities form, make sure you fill one of those out for the principal to sign so they know which location you're going to use. Last year, our media center was under construction, so we operated out of our classroom. And we were like in the very back of our high school, so we definitely needed runners to help the clients find their way all the way back and then all the way back up front. And then you can also, and also depending on how you want to, I guess you could do it if you guys have an FBLA or a DECA, you might be able to run, or inside that club. Or if you have an academy program, you could probably also just, but then you might also be able to do like fundraising under one of those other clubs to like raise money for pizzas, just to like feed all of the students like while they're there doing tax returns one evening. So
yeah, we have the Key Club here, so I was kind of thinking of maybe going through the Key Club
I mean,
Because I sponsor them and they're very high level, so they would be really good.
yeah, and if they need, all the community service hours.
Right, exactly. So I'm meeting with
Yeah,
them.
we can verify. I don't think we did that for you last year, Brian. So if the students still need that, let us know because we can sign off on whatever they have or send a letter so that they get the credit for volunteering.
Okay.
Question, how do we advertise this to the community that our schools are a site for taxes?
So we do that. So on our website, we have everything listed. So each school will be listed on there as well. It lists the day that you'll be open, the time that you'll be open, and we do try to say on there if you know like where in the school it's going to be, but there'll be someone that can escort you or whatever. So we do all that advertising for the site. So I mean, you can definitely too. We can provide you with flyers that you can hand out at your school as well, but we do all that advertising for all of our sites.
And just as another marketing thing too, to jump in, with the flyers around the school, so a lot of the students are working and a lot of them are still having taxes taken out of their paychecks, even though they're so a lot of the students you could advertise to just around the school with flyers. And then you can also maybe even send out like a parent link email, letting the parents know, hey, if you want your taxes done, we have a site now on at the high school. Advertise almost like internal, plus then to the teachers. A lot of the teachers don't even know you have the VITA program going, and a lot of the teachers will fit the requirements, to be able to do their taxes. So you could probably pick up a lot of returns, not even going out into the high school community in and of itself, but depending on how many, between the students and their parents and all the teachers, like there should be plenty there. And then of course, then you've got the whole surrounding community as well. So
yeah, and then it's $76,000 or less household income can get the taxes prepared for free. So it's, if it's a single person, it's 76,000, but if it's a couple with, 2 kids or whatever, it's the household income.
I was late in the meeting. Which school we have? I know Brian is from Dwyer. What about Leslie and Kathleen?
I'm from Atlantic High in Delray Beach.
Okay.
From Palm Beach Lakes High School in West Palm Beach.
Okay. And what about Brian?
Oh, Dwyer High School. Oh, sorry.
No, the other Brian. I have another Brian.
Yeah.
I work with Aaron. I'm not at a school site.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and so what we can do next week, so if you definitely think, you want to participate, we'll send out an email to you guys next week with all the information, with the PowerPoint, with the links and all of that. And then between Vivian and I, we can drop off the training books for you all next week. So we can get that out to you even before Thanksgiving. So
Yeah, I wanted to, like, as soon as I can understand the LinkedIn site, because I want to try to work on this as soon as possible with the certification.
Okay.
How hard
yeah,
it is.
so we'll get everything out to you guys on Monday via email.
Okay.
And then, let us know about dropping off the books, like, if we just drop them at the office with your name or whatever we need to do with that.
And I've already spoke to my principal, so I spoke with her yesterday. She sounds excited. And I know most of our students were Title I, so I don't think there's probably a lot of parents that can use the help.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that they would at this school.
Yeah, and Aaron, I think that they do need to get permission from the principal, correct?
Yeah, my principal is already on board, and I've already done the activities request.
Okay.
So she's aware of that. So everything's done on my part. It's just about, I want to see how hard the training is for me. If it's something that I can kind of, because we have a lot of ESOL students, which I think would be a great opportunity because we can get a lot of the Hispanics and the Haitian. So I have a lot of my students are bilingual. So I just want to be able to break down the training for them to make sure that this is something that they actually be able to do independently on their own, or I can, kind of explain it to them in a way, because even with students, they learn differently. The VITA website may be more for adults, but I want to be able to explain to them in a way that for students that they can understand it.
Absolutely, yeah. And then
Uh,
typically, I know, Brian, you were open 1 day a week. That's typically what the schools are doing because, it is tough. The kids have other things to do. So, we'd want you to be open at least 1 day a week and the same time. So if it's like a Wednesday from 3 to 6 or whatever it is, and you can let us know what works best for you. And when you do first start your site, we can probably, Vivian, right, have one of our advanced volunteers come out to the site at least the first day that you're open to just kind of make sure that you're all set because there's other things that go on. All the students have to have their login. We do really safe, secure. So there's like a login, that they have to do, and each student has like their own login. So we would help you get that all set up.
And will they be using their own devices or like you said, their login?
Typically, the school does have, right?
We'll have, okay.
Brian, we didn't bring any laptops to you, right? Yeah.
No,
None of our sites have in the past.
Okay.
I have a whole computer lab in my room.
And we have all of our students have Chromebooks anyway. They're assigned from the school. So yeah, I was just wondering. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, typically, we don't provide them. We don't have enough.
Yeah, they have their own. We have them here. I was just wondering.
See, we don't have Chromebooks for our students individually, but we do have Chrome carts in our room. So what I would probably do is I'm trying to see about getting the library because it's right at the entrance. And they have little labs, like little sections, like almost like a bank. I want to look into using something like that for the students and maybe have some students stand outside with flyers or poster boards saying, hey, we're over here, we're open. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
Sounds perfect.
And just another thing too. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
So you could either do the after school, like be open to the community, but a lot of times too, if you have like a planning period and a couple of students are like teachers' aides, then you might be also to be able to do some returns for like the teachers who might want to have their returns done, so they don't have to come after school. Or if it's a student who wants to have their return done, they can maybe see you during the planning period or during like a lunch or something like that.
Well,
So
how does that work out? How does that work out with the schools? Wouldn't that be considered like double dipping, like on planning period we're supposed to, because I don't teach any kind of finance course. I do teach personal finance, but they're not my students, they're freshmen. So
Don't
is
worry
that
about it.
clear?
You're doing enough hours after school that don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, part of my actual standards say like, teaching taxes and stuff. So I
see the tax. Yeah.
So I would just
don't concern yourself with that. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anything else, Vivian, we missed, or any questions anyone else has?
I think everybody's clear. I think Leslie and Helene, you're going to get all the books and, of course, the PowerPoint that I have. That's very easy for your students, and I think it's going to be very easy for you. Plus, Brian is going to share, whatever he has available for his classes.
Okay.
Of course, I'm willing to help you guys to go through, and hopefully you're going to be a location for the upcoming tax season.
I hope so.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, your students, like you said, I have experience last year and the previous year. First year was with Richter was really good. And of course, her students, in her case, were afraid to do returns. And I think for everybody, but, Brian also at the same, last tax season, his students were, oh my God, they have above and beyond, and they're really willing to help the clients. And they did pretty good. We were even surprised with one of his students. I think was the youngest one.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. Hopefully we have, again, this kid is really good. And
he definitely wants to sign up. I think he's going for the Circular 230 exam this time. He's going to.
Yeah.
Circular 230 is really good. He's very advanced. That test is for attorneys, not really for but it's fine. He can pass whatever he wants because he passed all the certifications. above, more than advanced, you
Yeah,
know.
more than I did.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then typically at the end of the season, just to let you know too, we do like a recognition. So for all the volunteers, so we'll be doing that again
Oh,
this
nice.
year, and they get an IRS certificate.
Oh, that
All the
is
volunteers do from the Internal Revenue Service,
That's great.
and so we'll let you know as it gets a little closer. But it's usually that weekend after tax season
And it's
ends.
a really good opportunity for the students too, because like, let's say if there's juniors or seniors, they can, like, after they leave, they can use that to help them. So
Absolutely.
it's really
Can
good.
put it on their college applications and
Yeah.
Yeah,
Their
or resumes.
Yeah.
resume, say they go to college and they graduated, and they can see that he was a VITA volunteer. You know, especially if they go into the finance area, you know, and finance field, it's very good for them.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
And
really-
I'll just say real quick too, there are a lot of United Ways throughout the country that run the VITA program, but not all programs are run through a United Way. Some are run by other organizations or nonprofits.
okay.
And in Florida, pretty much over on the West Coast near Tampa, they have a
Mhm.
lot of counties because they have Hendry and all those, not Hendry, I don't think, whatever's all there around Tampa. They run about 5 counties.
Yeah, I
We
think it
only
is.
run Palm Beach County.
Oh, nice. Okay. That sounds good.
All right. Very good. Well, if no one has any other questions, we will follow up, or
Mhm.
Donna and Vivian will follow up with Helene and Leslie.
Okay.
We also had somebody from John I. Leonard, which is in Green Acres, has expressed some interest. So I will follow up with them just to,
Okay.
I'll get back in touch, see if they still have interest. I'll share with them this recording. And we did also have somebody who was in adult education. If you remember, Donna, I had emailed you about that. I haven't not heard from her recently, but I know she was wanting to do it with her ESOL students who were in adult ed at our night schools, which would be fascinating and interesting. Go ahead, Vivian.
I have a question for you, Aaron.
Yeah.
When you say ESOL students, just remember our program needs bilingual people.
Right? Even better. Because she told,
They're all in English, you know.
yeah,
And also they have to have a, you know, unfortunately in our program, they have to have a legal status.
they have to have what?
A legal status, I mean, have to be
Sure.
resident of the United States or
All right.
citizen.
Sure. Yeah. But so I'll get back with her because she was pretty excited about it because she said a lot of those students in those night classes of adult students were accountants in their home countries. So now that's not the U.S. tax system,
Right.
but still.
But
So
they have
I'll follow up with you on that and see what I hear with her. We will also, once we get like commitments and you know, hopefully we can get the 3 schools that are here. I know we've got 1 already committed. You know, we'll try to get something to maybe if it's a Google Classroom or something, so you guys can have some more common communication. Because it certainly helps to bounce ideas off somebody who's at a school site running it.
Right.
You know, I know our school sites have some unique challenges sometimes that we're all aware of. So I think we'll set up a Google Classroom or something so that you guys can sort of
Thank
knock
you.
ideas.
And then Vivian does, I think it's every other week, right, during tax season. She gets together virtually too with the site coordinators. So that way, if, you know, something's come up, they have questions
Okay.
or something
check in.
changes in the middle of tax season that you need to be made aware of. So she meets with all the site coordinators pretty regularly during tax season too. So we'll include you in those meetings.
Thank you. Okay.
I'm gonna try to have someone to help you, especially at the beginning, you know, an advanced prepare.
Okay.
You're kind of going in and out, Vivian.
We have site coordinators or experienced volunteers that can go to your site and help the beginning.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Helen. No, go ahead.
How long does it take to study for the most simplest test of all? Like, is it something that you can actually study in maybe a weekend and take the test, like the standard of conduct, stuff like that?
Volunteer standard of conduct, you just read the questions and you're gonna be maybe in 1 hour be ready. Intake forms, maybe 2 hours. And of course, the basically it's gonna take a little bit longer, maybe 4 to 5 hours, if you review it and do the test.
I can't hear you, Vivian. I'm sorry. Now.
Saying for you, it's gonna take 4 to 5 hours to do the basic,
Okay.
between you can answer questions. And of course, for the student, it's gonna take a little bit.
So how many tests does the coordinator have to take versus how many tests the students have to take?
Test for the coordinator.
And the students?
So it's the standards of conduct, the intake quality review, advanced, and site coordinator for the teachers.
Okay.
And then the students, the standards of conduct, the intake quality review, and like Vivian said, those two are fairly easy. They're 10 questions each, and then they have to do at least the basic. But as I said in the beginning, if you have any students that are really smart, that are really advanced, and they want to try the advanced test, they can do that. They won't need to take the basic if they want to go right to advanced. But they all definitely would have to minimum basic.
Okay.
Yeah, so hopefully, you have a much better understanding. I thank you, Donna and Vivian and Brian. Really good job of sort of giving our teachers really pretty comprehensive background. So that's much appreciated. And hopefully you feel supported, right? Because you've got the United Way behind you, supporting you. You've got teachers now who have done it. There's also several other teachers that have done it that aren't participating this year, but if you need, we can connect you to them. They still work in the district. We have a teacher at Santa Lucia, teacher at Lake Worth. They've both been site coordinators before. They can certainly help, and you can certainly reach out to myself or Brian. We'll provide help. If there's any resources that you really need to help, let us know, right? If you need paper, if you need ink or whatever it is, if there's something you really need, just sort of reach out to us. And we'll see what we can do to get it for you, because we really do want you to succeed in this. So you just got to let us know.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, and we can drop off some supplies for you as well when tax season starts. So, and yeah, Lake Worth, it was Windsor, and she did do it a couple of years ago. She didn't do it through the school last year, but she did volunteer with us as a volunteer. So have you heard from her, Vivian, if she'll be back this year as a volunteer?
Haven't heard anything, but I'm gonna contact her.
Okay, yeah, but she'd also be a resource to reach out to as well. So
Okay.
Good to know.
All right. Any other pressing questions on anybody's mind before we depart?
No.
All right, then Donna and Vivian, I will send you the contact information for Helena Leslie. If you could follow up with them, that would be wonderful.
yeah, we'll send to Brian too. So Monday,
Perfect.
you can expect an email from us with all the information. And if you have any questions once you get that email, just let us know.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you
well,
so
thanks
much,
you
everybody.
guys. We're
Thanks,
excited.
everybody.
And yeah.
So am I.
Thank you.
Everybody
Okay, have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yep, thank you.